Welcome to the arena on KAFTAN TV. My name is Pius, Awunah. I'm going to be your host. In today's edition of the program, we are going to be looking at the plight of private security guards in Nigeria and the call for their liberation. I have a guest with me in the studio that will be looking at this issue together. But before you get to meet her, let's go on a break. After the break, then you get to know my guest and we'll start the discussion. Thank you. Back from the break. As I told you earlier, we are looking at the plight of private security guards in Nigeria and the call for their liberation. And it is very unfortunate that when you go around Abuja, you see, not only in Abuja, in the entire country, you see that private security guards, they don't look good. And not just, that. When you investigate, you discover that the way they are being treated by their masters is not really good. And then the companies that recruit them and send them to different places for them to work, we wonder if at all they have been monitoring what is happening in these places and to make sure their welfare is well taken care of. So today we are going to be looking at that, and I have a guest with me in the studio, Chikelu. But I will still want her to introduce herself properly. Chinelo, you are welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
Tell us your name and then what you do.
My name is Chinelo. I am a journalist with the leadership newspaper here in Abuja.
That is great. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
So this is the arena where we look at issues that affect the society in general and then bring them to the public, where we believe that the concerned authorities can listen to and do something to assist or to help the situation. And at the same time, we ensure that the discussion on the program educates people so that they can learn from it and improve their knowledge to be better. So welcome on the arena.
Thank you very much.
The issue of private security guards, the way they are being treated by their masters is very worrisome. Some of us, we have the opportunity to interact with them. We happen to witness one or two incidents regarding the way they have been treated, the way their masters treat them, and we look at it and know this is not good. They are human beings. Many people don't value them. Many people don't even appreciate what they do. And if you are been to some places, you see that sometimes when somebody is coming in into a company where a private security guard is at the gate, and the private security guard is being given the directive that you should park your car the other side, they park anywhere they want to park. They don't really follow the directives. All these things are, the kind of disrespect. You don't follow the orders. You don't do what they ask you to do. You look down on them. And even aside that, you see that the companies that recruit them and sent to these places for them to work don't really pay them well. You can imagine in Abuja, you go around, you see that somebody is receiving 15,000 naira per month, 20, 25. These are change that even your transport alone, those amounts cannot really take care of their transportation fare. So we really wonder if the private companies that recruit them and sent to these places for them to work are really monitoring, or in terms of the way they are being treated by their masters there, or why are they not paying them the money that they can enable them to take care of themselves. And aside that, there are a lot of issues we will look at as we are discussing this issue. But I will first of all want to ask you whether you have witnessed anything that you think is not fair, that happened to a private security guard.
Well, personally not. I haven't had any personal stories, but I do know that I have seen security guards who have had to sleep in their workplace for as much as 2-3 days before they go home, or a week before they go home. And I've never bothered to ask them why, but I figured in my mind somewhere, probably because of the salary, maybe it's too small. But I have had stories of people who are not security guards who have the same problem, like house helps. People who go to help rich people in their homes. I mean, there was one story I just heard like 2 weeks ago, and the woman lives all the way out in Papi, and you know what the transportation is at this point. And she was employed as a housemaid. She's just there to do the cleaning of the house. And then before she knew it, they've added laundry to her list of chores and cooking for the family to her list of chores. And she has to come all the way to Gariki for her job. So she lives in Pape. She pays almost 400 to 500 naira to come to work, and then about 400 to 500 naira to go back. That's 1,000. And they pay her 20,000 naira per month. At the end of the month, what she has as her gain is 1,000 naira.
What?
And she's still doing that job. And I know my friend has cancelled her seat. This is practically useless, but she says she can't. It's the only, and she can't even speak out.
The example you just gave of a house help is a perfect example of what even the private security guards are going through. I'm happy you, in your earlier comment, you said you know of some of them that stay in their workplaces for a week before they go home, because and you figure it that they want to just maybe economize, and it's true. When you go around to see, in fact, ask next time you meet them, try to have an interaction with them. You now see that some of them they receive 15,000 naira.
Wow! And
they have been posted by a company. Some of them 20. And from my investigation, which I have evidence that I can prove, you see that a private company is, for example, collecting 100,000 naira per guard. But what get to the guard at the end of the day as his or her salary payment is probably 20 or even less than 20,000. You are collecting 20,000 naira per head, and you give to the person who is doing the work, who stays under the sun and under the rain to open the gate for his masters or the people to come in. And even at night, you know, they stay awake to make sure if there's any suspicious movement, they can call the attention of their master or the company that sent them there. They work and work hard. And then at the end of the month, you are giving them 15,000 naira. Sometimes you give them 20, depends on that. And meanwhile, what you are collecting from them, you know, as their salary per head is far more than what you are paying them. And when you ask, I've asked questions before coming here. I've spoken to some people who are in the system, but they don't want to really come out to talk because, you know, they are keeping their job. So they are like, yes, this money you see, they cut this money for their uniforms, they cut the money for this and that. But for goodness sake, let's look at the example. There's another issue I'm going to bring here of what is happening at the World Bank, but I don't want to get there yet. But let's just look at this. Somebody is paying you 100,000 naira per guard simply because you are the one that went out to look for the contract, and you have gotten it, you put somebody there to work, and then you are giving this person 20,000 naira. In some cases, even 15,000 naira. Go around Abuja, investigate this, you discover what I'm telling you. Some people are receiving 15,000 naira per month. A private security guard. Found out how much the company that posted him or her there receives. So it's very annoying. When you look at that, it is a very clear, you don't need to be told that this is cheating. Of course, it's the same thing happens to mostly those people, the domestic workers who work for these you know, people. And it is very unfortunate that they allow people to go through all these pains. So I want us to look at it in this way. What do you think can be done to really address this issue, whereby the private security, and you know, because of that, many people go into this, not because they really want to do the job, but because that is their last option. They don't have any other option because of lack of jobs or this and that. That's why they just have to take that. If not, and if you have something better to do, you won't like to, because people don't value them, despite the fact that they play a very important role in the house. They open gate for you, you come in, and you know, some people, in some houses, you see people are many. People are going out constantly, coming in constantly. You are just staying at the gate to open gate for them. They don't rest. When these people are sleeping, they are awake. They are going around the house, patrolling the house, make sure there's no issue. And then at the end of the day, and some people don't even give them food to eat. Some of these houses, the people who have these houses and these guys are working for them, they don't even give them food. You see them going out looking for where they can buy food and eat. What did you think can be done to address this?
Well, for me, I think it has to start with the people who are getting the contracts, right? So
Yes.
it's simply a matter of, I think it's a matter of regulation, and it has to start with the Ministry of Labor, who are supposed to be regulating things that has to do with employment, right? So, I mean, obviously, from everything you've said right now, the people who are giving the contractors money to, they are aware of the minimum wage, which is 30 or 45. Well, it used to be 30, but now it says it's 45,000. They are aware of this. They have taken it into cognizance. They are paying 100,000, but then the middlemen are the one now cutting corners.
Yes.
Yes. So it's simply a matter of implementation of the labor laws we have. Because if we have a good regulatory system, these are things they are supposed to check. Even the domestic worker thing, it's not a big deal. There's a way to check also these things, just to make sure that, check. It's not, I think the thing with Nigeria is we have all good laws. They are on paper, they are good. But it's coming to enforcement that we have problem. So we should start at that level, you know, to enforce those laws. And then beyond the government doing this other job, it now befalls also on those companies that are paying to these other companies that contract the job.
Yes.
To actually do monitoring and evaluation too. I mean, I'm giving you 100,000 naira to go and pay this person and do this job, and this, like, feedback. What is happening? You know, is what is on field, what is happening? Because, I mean, if you don't do that, you would never know the difference. And then I also have to ask, aren't the security people and then the domestic workers, are they not getting back to maybe the people that are contracting these people to their employees? I mean, is there any way to get back to them to also know, okay, this is what we have on ground? Or they're just sitting silent? Because obviously going to complain to the employees is not working. So it's to find a way to get to the main people who are contracting to this to their employees. So, I mean, those are, at least for now, the 3 steps that I can suggest they do. Of course, I mean, I would want to say, okay, if somebody pays you that much, that less of a money, then don't take the job. But I understand things are hard. People need employment, but really there are some jobs that are just not worth the effort at all. So I guess it's also a way of finding their own voice, and then getting involved with CSOs that can help give them a voice for the issues that they are fighting for.
Yes,
and not just sitting still.
I'm aware that Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is actually the body that regulates the activities of these private security companies.
Okay, private security. Yeah.
But I really wonder if they are really doing their job, because I believe they should be monitoring closely the activities of the private security company. You see, the worst aspect of it is that even the private companies that recruit, security companies that recruit and send these people there, they're not treating their staff well. So how do you expect them to react when the houses where they have taken their staff to work is not giving them the needed treatment? How do you expect them to react? And in many cases, when these guys are experiencing these things and they are reporting back to their offices, but the private security companies look at it and no, they don't really, you know, act on their complaint, because they look at it that they're trying to question what is happening. They may lose the contract. Do you understand that kind of a thing? So they don't really take the complaint serious. I've noticed that. I have the opportunity to interact with them. I've spoken to many, and at least I have an issue that I'm following up, and I'm hoping that by God's grace it will be resolved very soon, about private security guards who work at the World Bank office here in Abuja, and they receive a very scanty amount as their salary. Imagine a reputable organization like World Bank have a private guard that receives 45,000 naira. Although there are some that receive, I think, above that 45,000 naira, but those are, they call them supervisors. But the majority of the private guards there take 45,000 naira per month as their salary.
And I'm betting they are the ones that do most of the job of guarding
45,000 naira. And that is not just the issue. I have taken my time to follow up on this issue to know if it is true. And I discovered that what the World Bank is paying the private security company that sent guards there, pay guard, is over 300,000 naira. Yes, I have evidence here. It's over 300,000 naira. What the World Bank is paying a private security guard per month is over 300,000 naira. But look at what is happening. They collect 45,000 naira. And this issue has been happening for long. Even a former private company that's recruit and send supply guards to World Bank was shortchanging the guards. And then now the present private security company that supplies guards to the World Bank office in Abuja still shortchange the guards. And this thing is happening. The authorities, the management of the bank is aware, but they are not really doing what can help. I've been able to fight this issue to the point that I have gotten the attention of the World Bank office outside the country. One Mr. Tamara has been in touch with me on this issue. And then we are just hoping that, and you know, if I tell you how I've got to know this, you'll be surprised. But the bank now is threatening the private guards that they are going to lose their job. Why could they contact the journalists to expose this issue, this and that? There is not how to go about it. But they don't even know that the guards themselves, they don't even know me. They have not seen me for once. They don't know I've gotten this with me. Yeah. So it's very annoying. Okay, imagine a reputable company like World Bank, or an organization like World Bank. This kind of a thing is happening there. There are other local companies that are not even known nationwide. They pay their staff more than 45,000 naira that the World Bank is paying a private security guard. More than 45,000 naira. I know many organizations I can list them. They are not known nationwide. Not to talk of World Bank, that is an international, a reputable organization, then is giving such amount, which we know World Bank is paying more than that. But the company that the World Bank contracted is not really giving the needed amount to the guards. And the World Bank is aware of this. And what is the World Bank doing about it? Do you have anything to say about this? Is this not a clear form of injustice? Is it not a clear, form? It is very obvious. Somebody can look at it and say, no, this is not fair. These guys you are shortchanging this guy. This is more of slavery. There was a publication in Sahara Reporters about the same issue. What do you have to say about this, Chinelo?
Well, I think I read that report on Sahara Reporters. Well, let's look at the story. Let's break down the story there. Based on what I have read, anyway, from what I read, now the World Bank is aware, and from also what I also read, I was able to also deduce that some people within the World Bank are in the know, in the form of they are aware of what is happening. Yes. And in other words, somehow threatening the guards themselves, So I think it just has to do with it's just the whole, it boils down to corruption anyways. Yes. Because for an organization like the World Bank to make out 100,000 naira or 300,000 naira or more for a security guard to be paid, that's what they've given the contractors to pay them. And then now they are finding out, and then like you said, they are threatening the guards themselves that they will be sacked if they, why would they release such information when you said, like you said yourself, it wasn't through them really that you got the information from. It's obvious that there's something wrong somewhere within the organization itself. So either that some of the workers there are involved in what is going down. Yes, you are. Of course. Because I mean, there's no way a World Bank, I mean, that's such a prestigious organization that is in charge of ensuring that people, don't in the to address poverty,
yes.
and then somebody,
and then those working with the same organization, they are poor.
And then you contracted this amount of money, and then you are trying to shut the guards up. It doesn't, something is not connecting. So it's either some of the employees there know something is happening, or they are covering something up there. So I mean, it's just I don't know.
before I forget, let me show you this. This was December 5th, 2001. For you to know that this has started for a very long time. You can see this letter is very old. The former country director of World Bank for Nigeria, Dr. Mark. Dr. Mark was a country director of World Bank for Nigeria in that December 5th. He discovered this. He said, no, this is cheating. So he really wants to help. Do you know before, even the drivers at the World Bank, they were working on the contract basis. The cleaners, the security guards, they were all these jobs were contracted. A private company sent these people, the private security, send guards, send cleaners, send drivers. Then when this man saw, when the former World Bank country director for Nigeria saw that, this is not fair. What we are paying these people is not what exactly their companies are paying them. So let's see how we can take them to be our direct staff. Then that was when this appointment letter was given to drivers, was given to cleaners, and the private security guards. If you look at the title of this appointment letter here, offer of short-term local temporary appointment. It was from the World Bank. World Bank, you can see, signed by the Dr. Mark. He was the World Bank country director for Nigeria then. Then, after giving these letters to them, some people now came, the staff of World Bank, came and retrieved this one from the private security guards. That there is a mistake in the letter. So they want to correct the mistake and return the letter back to them. And that was the end of everything. The letters were not given back to them, but those of drivers, they didn't retrieve their letter. And that is why you see now, a driver, somebody as a driver, working as a driver at World Bank, received more than 300,000 naira. But you know, before, drivers were receiving 40,000 naira, some even 30, some 45, based on your experience and how long you have worked with the World Bank. But they were not receiving anything beyond, I think, 45, 50 before this letter. But because of the letter that was given was not retrieved from the drivers, now a driver there are some drivers that receive up to 500,000 at the World Bank. Yes, I know what I'm telling you. Some receive 400,000. So imagine, and you know how important security, the issue of security is. So the private security guards that are working there, because their letters were retrieved, then you can see them receiving this kind of scanty, infinitesimal amount of 45,000. And you know, let me tell you one funny thing. Before this present private security company that is with World Bank, and that was a private security company before this one, and that was, I think that private security company was at least paying more, up to 80,000 or more to guards. Even that was also cheating. And the private security company, the World Bank, according to the information I've gathered, that they want to manage the cost, and then they have to let go of the former company and give the contract to a new company that is there now. And then the new company say no, and then they cannot. The old guards that were converted to work with this the new company were happy that with their experience and all this, and they are receiving 80. Maybe this is actually going to help them. Then working with this new company now, their salary will be better. And that was when they drastically bring their salary back to 45,000 naira. In fact, initially it was 40,000 naira. I think it was a year ago. After that, 2020, then I think 2021, that was when they added the 5,000 naira to be 45,000 naira now. So imagine, this document I have here can prove that. This is the appointment letter that was given by the former World Bank country director, because he saw there was cheating in the system and he really wanted to address this. But you can look at what happened. People went behind his back to retrieve the letters given to private security guards. But the drivers, their letters were not retrieved. You can see the drivers are really enjoying now. This thing led to many of these guards. They removed their children from some schools that were going to, because they could not afford to pay their school fees again. They even have to change the houses where they can afford to pay the house rent. And till now, as I'm talking to you, they are really suffering. They are really suffering. What? Let me ask you. We know the main reason for even discussing this issue for the public to be aware of what is happening there, and for the concerned authorities, especially the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, to really monitor the activities of the private security companies and know if what they are doing is actually in line with what the guidelines given to them to operate. What can you say about this issue?
Well, so I mean, I'm sure this is not it's a familiar tale that you hear most of the time, and it's not necessarily a good one. So I mean, for me, I would suggest two things. I mean, if World Bank is really interested in addressing the issue at hand, then direct employment would be the best thing.
Yes.
Just like they did with the drivers,
Yes.
right? You can directly employ the security guards so that you ensure that what you want to pay them is what gets to them. There will be no middlemen in between to cut
Yes.
anything whatsoever. I mean, because even if the contractors are cutting off their salaries to give them uniform, I mean, you don't give them uniform every month.
Every month, yes.
Not
And you
every
cut their
month.
salaries every month.
Yes, you don't give them security equipment every month. It's so I mean, come on. So they could have done better.
And not that when these security guards, maybe when they are leaving the job, not that they even give them something reasonable. I follow up on an issue where one of their private guards was unfortunately he was coming to work, and the Nyanya bomb blast, if you remember, he died in that incident. But we'll continue with that. Time to go for break, and after the break, we're going to continue with the discussion. Don't go anywhere. We're going on a break now. We'll come back and continue with the discussion. Back from the break. This is still the Arena on KAFTAN TV, and we have been looking at the issue of private security guard, the plight of private security guard, and the call for their liberation. We really hope that the concerned authorities are listening and they can do something after this. It's very annoying. It's very obvious that these guys have they are suffering and they need help. So something has to be done to address this issue. Chinelo, I was trying to tell you about the issue of a private security guard that was working with World Bank, not under this present company, the former company that the present company took over from. The guy was involved in this, or rather, was the incident of Nyanya bomb blast, claimed his life. And do you know that nothing was done? It was rather his colleagues, the other private security guards that they were working together, they contributed something to go and see his family, married person with children, to go and see the family and at least give.
To compensate them.
The World Bank, there was nothing from them. The private security company that was supplying guards to World Bank then, there was nothing from them. So you see, but this is the same thing they were doing. They were cutting their salaries too. That this one is when you are leaving, we can give you as your pension or whatever for uniform, all this and that. But when something happened to them, they don't, give them the needed support. Or even when they are leaving, they don't really give them something reasonable. But look at how big they cut their salary in the name of, trying to save for them and other unnecessary excuses.
So part of the salary cutting was also involve pension.
That is what they claim. I've spoken with one who don't want to really, because he's also protecting his job, but he said that is what happened. They keep this in so that when you are going, they can also give you something from there, all this and that. But you see, when they are going, they don't even get anything, from there. They don't get anything. So I really wish that the concerned authorities are listening and this issue will be addressed. At least there's an evidence here that a former country director was not happy with this. He discovered this and he was not happy. And it was because of that that you see the drivers at World Bank, they are now smiling. Yes, if not, they were in the same situation. They were in the same situation that the private security guards are experiencing now.
Well, so like I was saying, the short-term solution first will be direct employment.
Yes.
So when organizations, especially international agencies like World Bank, when they do direct employment of the security guards themselves, then nothing comes in between. There's no middle person to cut anything from their salary. Yeah, so I mean that's one way to go about it. Although you may look at it from their angle in terms of okay, they are probably trying to vet in terms of loyalty, you know, where a guy coming to coming to a contractor, you know, their loyalty is ensuring that okay, this is somebody that I can trust. But there are ways you can vet somebody and do your direct employment, so you don't need to go through. Because once something goes through something, I mean, as is seen here in Nigeria, you always have money cutting short somewhere. The same thing happens in the agricultural sector, where you see farmers who are planting the food and little. By the time they send their food to the middlemen now continue to add things. By the time it gets to the market, you have less food for, and the farmer will even sell in bulk to them, make less to nothing. So I mean, we found the situation here in Nigeria once it goes through a middleman. Yeah, it's
not the right thing.
The outcome it's not good for anybody. But then there's a second issue of also reviewing minimum wage. You know, even if they're paying them 4,000 for 5,000, and let's say they will focus on, oh, by the way, minimum wage says 45,000 naira. Times like this, things have changed from the way it was last year. I mean, anybody living in Nigeria will tell me.
Even our so-called minimum wage is not really something that
exactly. It's 45, and it's not. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So government should actually look at that minimum wage, because yes, it's fixed, but then it's also changeable, right? In the sense that you look at the times in order to fix your minimum wage. So things have changed drastically between 2019, when this minimum wage was raised last from 30 to 40 something.
Yes.
So you took in cognizance the things happening in your society and raised that minimum wage, because minimum wage now can't do anything for anybody in this country. You know, so we are looking at and that if to say an original, but that means it has to come from the Ministry of Labor and Employment. So they are the ones that will have to review that, even though some states are still finding it difficult to even pay the so-called minimum wage.
Do you know, I sat down last week, I was trying to calculate to know how much I'm actually spending for transportation fare for a month. And I discovered that my transport fare per month alone is more than some salaries paid to some private guards. Yes.
So I mean, it's happening everywhere. So that's what I'm saying. It comes and it's also pitiable that even now there are some people who are not, like the domestic workers, they are not even paid up to 45,000 naira.
Yes. And
they hold on to those jobs and make those salaries, and these people have to go to work every day, Monday to Sunday, no breaks.
Yes, they go to work every day.
So I mean,
and this, honestly, this issue of we'll look at other areas too, but this issue of World Bank is sympathetic. Sympathetic in the sense that, you know, during the COVID-19 lockdown, where everywhere nothing was working, World Bank was actually sharing, how do they call it, palliatives. Yes, World Bank was sharing palliatives to people to lessen the burden of this lockdown. Do you know the private security guards are still working with the World Bank now? They were still there. They were not giving anything. No, you'll be surprised. All this thing I'm telling you because I have facts. They were not giving anything. That part is also captured in the publication done by Sahara reporters. They were not giving anything. But this is the same World Bank that is fighting poverty. This is the same World Bank that is fighting poverty. Then people who are working with you, they are poor. So what are you fighting? They say charity begins at home. Is that not so?
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys, even the so-called palliatives, were not given to them.
So, like I said, it's, let's say the World Bank doesn't know what is happening.
But now I believe World Bank should be aware of what is happening
should be
there.
aware. So
And this issue should be addressed.
And it can't be addressed by them, you know, like I said, doing direct employment, or if they still want to choose to work with these people, they should find out, even within their own system, what is happening, because obviously there's something wrong somewhere.
Yeah, some people,
between.
you know, that's what happened in many places. Let me tell you, you know, when contract like this come, the people have interest. Because I know of this very well. And I was suspecting that this is what is happening in World Bank too. But because of the fact that I may not have evidence of that, but I know it's happening in other places too. Because the way things are playing out there, you can know it is very obvious. Some people who are already staff of a particular company that need the service of private security guards, they will be the one to recommend the private security company that they should their office should contract. And then at the end of the day, they get their own commission.
Their own cuts from it. Yeah.
So this kind of people, they do everything possible even when they know that things are not happening right. But because of the fact that they are in the system, they are the one that brought in this company. The company must stay. If you can find out, like when it comes to the issue of World Bank, how much other private security, other companies as guards are receiving when it comes to this kind of service in other countries in Africa. How much are they receiving? I believe what is happening in Nigeria is not happening in Ghana. It's not happening in South Africa. It's not happening in other African countries where World Bank has its branches. I very strongly believe that it is not happening. It's only in Nigeria when you come, you see things happening in the opposite direction. Yes. I don't think this is happening in the other countries in Africa. I don't want to even mention other countries in the world. In Africa, where we are the giant of Africa, this is not happening in Ghana. I know. It's not happening in even Benin Republic here. They make sure their people get what is really there for them. Not somebody to come in and, you know, change them. But when you come to Nigeria, we are the ones that even sometimes introduce how these people can be cheated.
Yeah.
Because if World Bank can budget this kind of amount for a private security guard, what is the meaning of giving them 45,000 naira? Not even up to the half of what World Bank is giving to a private security guard as salary.
So yeah, those are the things they should look into their system, because it's really not is not a good image for, you know, for such a thing to be happening in an organization like just the institution itself. So these are things they should look into. Probably something wrong there somewhere, and they can address that. And to make everything easier, do a direct employment. And do you know
one of the excuses you hear people giving, that these these security guards, sometimes when you employ them, they will come and steal your things, they will misbehave and go. So when they are coming through a private company like this, if they misbehave, that private company that supplied them, they will be held accountable. But aside private guards, those who are the management staff, have they not been misbehaving? No, let's just look at it. Those who are the management staff, have they not been corrupt? They take, you know, to change their companies. So if a company can give direct employment to, let's say, to those who are administrative officers, have that confidence in them, give them this kind of job to do. Those who are accountants in the company, those who are, you know, in different those who are in the HR and the rest. Why can't you do the same thing for private security, for security sector in your company? Why must you have to contract that and then give an excuse that if you employed security direct, they will come and misbehave, they will go, you will not know. The same way you employ the other people that you have trust in them, that you were able to know about their background, you have people that, you know, stand for them before you give them the job. Why can't you do the same thing when it comes to getting security for your company? Why do you have to bring in somebody else, give huge amount to the person will now have to cut and give very little to the people who are really doing the job?
Well, I think another way of looking at it is looking at it from a human angle, right? Yes. So it's a matter of like I know in Christian will tell you, is the golden rule. You do unto others what will be done to you, right? What you want to be done to you. So, I mean, if you consider, okay, this is I'm bringing a security, and we know the state of the security now in our country, right?
Yes.
So, and we are bringing a security, and then you discover, okay, I'm going through a channel, and I'm paying this amount to a contracting agency to bring this person in, and then they are shortchanging that person by this much. I mean, that doesn't even occur to you that this may be the reason some of them might come in and misbehave, or maybe rob or steal something. But I don't believe somebody who is paid well for the work they do will have any reason to steal or to take away something that is not their own. So if you treat people the way you want to be treated, and then you pay them, and then you pay them,
they may cheat you.
What they do, I'm telling you, they will never ever think of cheating you. They will guard your place with their life.
They are ready to die for you. That reminds me. Let me tell you this. I know of. I'm not trying to promote anybody on this program. Nobody paid for me to promote him or her on the program. But this is just the truth. I want to talk about this woman at this point, so that other people should really learn from what she's doing. I know of Blessing Awunah. I know that woman long ago. She don't even know me, but I'm aware of what she does to her domestic workers, her security guards who are supplied to them by a private security company. I know what she does to her cooks, cleaners, and the rest. Do you know, apart from the money the private security guard she paid, that the company or these guards paid to them, she still have a certain amount that she gives to them every month. Did you understand me? And then aside that, do you know what that woman eats in her house? It is the same thing that you see the security men eating. It is the same thing that you see the cleaners in the house eating. It is the same thing that you see the drivers in the house are eating. And they are not just, they give them, they eat enough. They eat to their satisfaction. That's what that woman does. Blessing Awunah, I don't know her anywhere. Probably she don't know me too. But this is what I found out, because I've gone around to interact with, private security guards. Some of them don't even know that this is my mission. I want to come out. I want to come on the TV program and talk about this, to ask questions. How is this job? Some of them are even tell that I would like to do this. So they will say, you are friendly with them. They will tell you a lot. So how I wish everybody is like Blessing Awunah. I think Blessing Awunah now, the last time I checked, I think she's a house. I think she's a member in the National House of Representatives, if I'm not forgetting. A very nice woman. And you see the way she treats her domestic workers, you would like to even work in her house.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being appreciated and you paid what you're due, it affects your whole demeanor, your whole working system. I mean, sometimes these domestic workers and security men are easily overlooked part of the society. People talk down to them and everything. And but you find out if you treat them well, it starts by treating them well, pay them well, even if you're not feeding them, because unless your contract says you will feed them, that's aside. But pay them what they are due, when they are due being paid, and then you don't have to worry about whether they steal from you or anything. And that just paying them what they are due at the right time affects even the way they do their job. Because they will be more politer to people. They will smile more. Not just sit there when you come, they make life difficult for the others that are coming in.
They will attend to you.
Yeah, they will attend to you, because you may not understand where they are coming from, because you're just passing by once in a while. But they know that frustration is now vented out in the wrong direction. So I mean, it's just that going on. I still want to use this opportunity to talk even more about domestic workers and some of these sales girls, as you see, walking around the Banex area and stuff. They get less than the minimum wage, and yet you see them struggling to come to work every morning. I mean, no matter how much transport workers would raise the transport fares, they still insist on coming out to do that. And you're wondering, we are being paid this little. I mean, you can imagine if still making education. What about when you pay them what they are actually, the work they're actually doing? They will give you, more. The best that you could get. So I mean, it's just about first of all, government has to do its own part, or the regulatory organizations have to do their own part, because it's by doing their own part that things will get better. Because if they still feel that nobody questions them or nobody looks at what they are doing, they will keep on doing what they are doing. Things will never get better. So we need to get our systems right, so that when the system is right and it's working smoothly, then all these things won't come up.
We need to get our system right. When the system is right and all these things are working smoothly, all these things will not come up. Yeah. I love that. and it's true. We just need to get things right. And we are not here to attack any company. That's why I've been mentioning private security companies. I have not mentioned their names, even though I have their names here. But I just have to mention like World Bank, that because no one would believe that this kind of a thing should happen at a World Bank. And the management are aware, because I know the country director is aware. There was a time the acting country director, when the country director traveled out of the country, a woman, Kachi Whip, sent me a WhatsApp message, and I pushed this to her, that this is what your people are going, the private security guys, they are aware. They all know me at the World Bank, but maybe if any of them is watching this program, and maybe it's now that they will get to see my face to know that, okay, this is Pius. It's annoying. They are aware. They know that this is what the guards are going through, and they are not doing anything to help. Only the former country director, who is Dr. Mark. Dr. Mark was the only person that made effort, and his effort at least yield result, a positive result, because at least the drivers are no longer suffering. So we are expecting that this country director should also do something that will liberate the suffering of these the suffering guards, the private guards, and even we are just hammering more on private guards, but even the cleaners who are there are suffering on the contract basis. Please, if you don't want to make their employment direct, make sure the companies that supply them to you step up their salary. So that at least they can be able to do something meaningful with their life. Because you imagine people, the general belief is that if you are a staff of World Bank, as far as you are working with the World Bank, even if you are working as a cleaner or just a private guard, security guard, or anything, you should not lack. Do you know this guy, they cannot even afford to eat, I'm talking of 3 square meal, even 2 square meal, because many of them, they have families that are taken care of. What can 45,000 naira do to them?
I think this is where also we need more CSOs to lend their services in this area, especially for this for the security workers and for domestic workers as well. Because I mean there are CSOs for every other thing else, but I think this areas, because you even see foreigners who come in and hire this security people and hire this domestic workers and pay them less than even the minimum wage. So I mean, some people, CSOs can come in here and also,
do you know, we're talking about the
amplify,
talking about the foreigners coming to pay.
Yeah.
Do you know, if you can investigate to know that for foreigners, they come in, they don't know anybody here. Before they hire anybody, they must have spoken to someone who is an insider.
Yeah.
Look, I need so person. What would I do? My dear, a lot of things are happening. They don't know you, so how would they call you and give you direct employment? They first of all meet with a Nigerian,
and then probably the Nigerian will now tell them, don't pay less than
very
this.
Good.
Don't pay more than this.
And in some cases, they are not even paying direct. They pay to this person they trust that promised to supply these people to them. You know, some of these people are just like, they are like agents. They are not really like companies, but like agents. They register. Or I don't know whether they even register. So when you get to meet them, the salary goes to them.
Yeah.
And then they now decide how much to give the person who's working with.
Yeah.
You hardly see even foreigners or those who are the indigents pay salary direct to their domestic workers. You hardly, only few. Majority, the salary goes somewhere before coming back to them. Because somebody brought them into the house to serve you. And the person is their master. So you have to push to him before he decides what he gives to them. So this is cheating.
Yeah, these are the things, because there's no structure to that system. So it's always, you know, and even those that get the job, they feel like, okay, I'm beholden to this person. I can't say anything because this person got me this job. And so they, you know, it doesn't, I mean, something just needs to be done, you know, they need to regulate all these things. I mean, and it's necessary because a lot of the people who do this house help work, who do this domestic work, they are women. And so this is where I think Ministry of Women Affairs should also come in to do something.
Even the private security guards, you go to some places, you see they are women.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, so many organizations can work jointly on this to change the situation, because if it can go on and on and on, except it is properly regulated. Make the system work right, you know, fine if necessary, or lay penalty for those who need to be laid penalty on them. The others will sit up and know that they just can't come in and do whatever it pleases them in the long run. So
before, I used to like say, if you don't have enough money to pay a guard, why do you hire him in the first place? But I now notice that no, it is not about the money issue. They pay enough to the companies that supply them, but the company is the one that cut. We are saying this thing now. We believe those of you who bring in, you contract private company to supply domestic workers for you, like security guards.
They can ask questions.
Cleaners and the rest. You should monitor, find out how much these companies are paying
especially when
and then compared to how much you are paying
the company.
In case you are not aware, we believe you are aware now because you are watching and you are listening to us at the same time. We are not here to attack any company or anybody. We are just here to make sure that what is not right should be addressed. In case you are not aware that this issue is happening, people don't even give attention to this kind of issue. They look at it as it's not something that worth discussing. These people are human beings, for goodness sake.
Human beings.
And one good thing is that they are really working. Because go around at night, see, you just pass where you are not supposed to pass, you see torchlight, a private security guard is, you'll be surprised. They are just, so it's annoying that you walk like an elephant and you eat like ant. It's not fair. And then another thing I discovered is that even churches now, they hire private guards. They don't employ them directly. I saw that in one church. I was asking somebody who attended the church, I said, you are aware of how the private security company should change their guards. And you are one among the decision makers in the church. Why would you approve that they should bring in, they should contract private company to bring in security, where you know very well that there will be cheating, and it's not right. He said in the past they used to hire direct security, but when they come, they misbehave and all that. So, and they will steal things from church, and because of that, they now have to contract it so that if they should come and misbehave, then they will hold the company responsible. But even aside the private guard, I told him, okay, I say even aside that, can't those who are ordinary workers in the church, are they not being stealing from church too? So why must the issue of private security guard be different? So why am I saying all these things? Look, if something is wrong, something is wrong. So we need to address it. If you are not giving these guys job directly and you are giving all these excuses for me, they don't hold water. Because if you can trust other people in your company that are not security to give them jobs, they are not security guards to give them job, the same way you did for them, you know, reciprocate that to private guards. So go through them, ask them to bring guarantor and try to know the address of their guarantors, and then give them this job, pay them directly. They will even do the job better than when you contract a private company to bring them to work for you. So please, we are not here to attack anyone. We are just letting you know that these things are happening and it is not right. And we have to address this issue before it is too late. In fact, you cannot say it's even too late. It is not too late. We can still address it. So World Bank, please, we believe we are not here to the kind of make you feel less important. Of course, World Bank is a reputable organization, and this is the same bank that released billions of dollars to different African countries to fight poverty execute project and all that. Even now as I talk, there are World Bank project going on in Maiduguri and other parts of the country to help, you know, improve the standard of living of the people living in those areas. So, but it will also be, it will not be right that the same World Bank that is doing all these things have people who are working there and they are poor. They cannot afford to eat even 2 times in a day because of the salary they get is not really helping matters. So please, it is our belief and you know, hope that this issue will be addressed, not just only World Bank, but other private security companies as well that are not treating their staff well. They should start, you know, doing what is needful. And then at this point, I will call on the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, which is the agency of government that is in charge of monitoring the activities of private security companies, regulating them, to please step up. Go around, ask questions, find out how these guys have been treated, find out how much they receive as their salary, and look at that with the present condition we have in the country. Is it good? Can they survive with that? So it's all about coming together, doing the right thing, and let's team work in the way that everybody can smile. Thank you very much for watching. My guest has been Chikelu. Yeah. From Leadership Newspaper. Yes. It has been nice having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
And I'm hoping that I will call you again so that we can discuss more about any issue that we believe can be of interest to the public. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Don't forget that is we have to end it here because we don't have more time to discuss about this issue. But we believe the discussion we had so far, you have picked 1 or 2 things and you are going to learn from there. Don't forget, it's the plight of private security guards and the call for their liberation. That aside, domestic workers in your houses, treat them well, the same way you want someone to treat you if you happen to be a domestic worker. Do unto others what you expect them to do unto you. We are coming your way again, same time next week for another interesting edition of The Arena. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.